I don't believe in unconditional love. I believe that everybody that loves you for a reason. I believe love is transactional. The only person I feel like can love you unconditionally is your mother, and to some degree is not even very, very true, because your mother still loves you conditionally. But if there's anybody that's going to love you unconditionally, it's probably your mother and God, of course. The reason why I said that is from my little life experience and all that. I just noticed that people only like you, or at least from my own experience, people have only liked me or wanted to interact with me when I had something to give. It's basically demand and supply. When what I have is in demand, like when there's demand for what I have, that's when people want it, like they want the supply from me. But vice versa, when you basically don't have anything to give these people, they also don't want to do anything with you. And the thing is that the thing you want to give doesn't necessarily have to be like, money, or always helping them do a favor, or your talents or your time or so. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. This transactional thing could be anything. It could literally be something like vibes. You give good vibes when they're around. It could be love, it could be emotional support, it could be advice, it could be wisdom, it could be safety, it could be like you're somebody they're able to confide in, little things like that. But I feel like everybody, to some degree, to some level, only wants to interact with you because you have something to offer. If you have nothing to give, if you have nothing to offer, if you don't have anything in demand, I feel like people don't want to interact with you. And it's why many times we'll see like friendships fall apart or something, because when these two people, they first start out or they start getting along, this person has something to give that the other person wants, and vice versa. The other person has something to give that this person wants. But eventually, maybe one of them stops giving that thing, or one of them changes or whatever. You notice that friendship or that relationship or whatever changes fast. That's basically because this person no longer has something this person wants. To me, it's basically all just transactions. But it's just, instead of paying with like money and cash and maybe equipment or fame or access or something like that, you're paying with like trust, you're paying with love, you're paying with emotional connection, you're paying with good vibes, you're paying with all these things. I also no longer believe in happiness. So there's usually this argument or this rumor or whatever that money buys happiness, money doesn't buy happiness, money isn't everything. Money, I feel like happiness in of itself is something I don't even subscribe to, because many people like to approach happiness like it's something they can achieve. They want to be happy. I believe that it is false. Like, you can't be happy, because I see happiness and the lack thereof, being unhappy or whatever, being depressed, whatever the opposite of it is, just like being hungry. It's just like they want to be so happy they are never depressed again, or they are never sad again, or whatever. And it's the same thing. It's almost like saying you want to eat so good you never get hungry again, or you want to sleep so well you never get tired again. Basically, doesn't make sense. Like, you're always going to get hungry again, you're always going to get tired again. I feel like also you're always going to get unhappy again. So happiness isn't like this end goal you're chasing. I believe suffering is a good thing. I believe hardship, I believe pain, I believe all those uncomfortable things, those tough times, those hard times, I believe is normal. Like, we have just basically given it a name that is bad, but I don't see it as bad, because being hungry necessarily bad. To some degree it is, but at the same time it's not, because if you could never get hungry, then food will never make sense in of itself. So you'll basically never be able to get food. So that means hunger still has importance. If there was never bad, then there will never be good. Then good basically won't make sense, because good will have no relevance. If there was never night, there will never be day, because there's nothing to compare it to, there's nothing to contrast it to. Also, if there was no pain, if there was no suffering, if there was no hardship, if there was no anguish, there will never be happiness or joy, enthusiasm to strive for. I don't really believe in happiness. It's not to say like who you should be depressed and all that, but I just don't believe in this idea that you should chase happiness. You should always try to be happy. People see all these negative emotions, people see all this uncomfortable stuff, and they try to run away from it. Oh, I don't like stress, I don't like pain, I don't like suffering, I don't like torture, I don't like all these things, I don't like punishment. And it's not to say that I necessarily like it or enjoy it, but I just see it as what it is. I don't really see it as a bad thing anymore. At least I'm starting to not see it as a bad thing anymore. I just see it as it's just there. I also believe that everybody's destiny is in their hands, basically. And obviously, you could give me some extreme example that some child in some rural part of West Africa or whatever that doesn't have access to water or education or technology. Obviously, that scenario is very extreme, and obviously, like a child like that is suffering from this or that. Like, yes, his destiny might not be in his hands, but for the majority of us who live in civilization, who have access to the internet, who have phones, and live in like a normal city, basically live like normal lives. Like, a lot of us, our destiny is in our hand. A lot of us, we can control how we want our life to be. We can basically do things that will get us to where we want to go. Don't believe in timing. timing is one thing I stopped believing in. There's usually this quote or this phrase or this, whatever that usually floats about God's time is the best. I don't believe in that because to some degree it is true because obviously, God's time is the best. But at the same time it's false because what is God's time? If you sit around and you don't do anything, you don't, take action or whatever, and you just say, oh, God's time is the best and all that, the thing is never going to come. Like, there's basically never going to be God's time. But on the other hand, if you actually start doing stuff, it could happen right now. Because this time I was, sitting randomly by myself and thinking random things as usual. Then this thought just struck me that, do I know, like, 1 year from today, I could literally be in like a private jet flying to some highland to go and stay on vacation or something. And as absurd that thing seems, it's actually very possible. Something like that we you necessarily say is God's time. The reason why I said I could be in a private jet 1 year from today is no, it's probably not going to happen. But the reason that possibility is there is if I do the things that is going to get me to being in that private jet 1 year from today, I would be in that private jet. Like, I don't believe things are time bound anymore. I believe things are action bound. And obviously there are some things you can't control. There are many times, life, the universe, whatever. Like, it just works like that. So obviously some things are still time constrained. But I believe like up to 80% of things is action constrained. Just like the private jet example I give. If from this very moment when I end this video, I spend the next 12 hours every single day for the next year learning about maybe sales and marketing or how to make money or crypto or something crazy like that, it's a very, very high chance I will eventually strike it big, especially if I keep going, keep getting better, keep doing the things to improve. There's a very, very high chance, the business opportunity or the whatever I'm trying to do eventually click. And once it clicks, that vision I just told you, being 1 year from today, being in a private jet, could actually come true. That same realization could take 1 year, or it could take 10 years, or it could even take 100 years, or it could take 1,000 years. That was if private jet still exists 1,000 years. Maybe it would be like alien spaceship, would have be like in a private jet, whatever it would be. It's basically just based on what I do. If I spend 12 hours every day, like I said, obviously it might not be 1 year, it could take longer, it could take shorter, I don't know. But the idea is just, it could be 1 year. But if instead every day and I spend 6 hours, it could be 3 years. If I'm doing it like 5 minutes every day, it could take like 1,000 years before I get there. Which means in my entire lifetime, I could never achieve that reality. So basically it's all just action bound. It's majorly based on me, based on what I do. If I do the right things, especially repeatedly, and taking action, like taking corrections rather, doing things better, like you do it this way the first time, and next time you look at it and say, okay, how can I do this better? And just keep doing that every day and do for like stupid amount of hours. I'm talking of 12 hours, 16 hours, something like that. Like the biggest, wildest, craziest dreams that will literally take people like 5 years to achieve. You could achieve it in 1 year. So that kind of scenario, we now say is God's timing, or you make your time. I feel like God has just made the timing open for most things. For many things, some things the timing is fixed. Like I can't become 2 years older overnight. So like in 3 months, it just can't happen. But for many other things that is in our control, timing is open, like it's free. It's just based on what you do. If you want that time now, you could make it now. If you want it 5 years, you could make it 5 years. If you want it 10 years, you could make it 10 years. That thing I do believe is life happens in phases. So basically nothing is permanent, everything is temporary. As I'm here right now, I'm recording this video, talking to this phone, talking to you basically, like you're watching me from this phone. In this car, like I'm here by myself, recording this video. And this right now is a phase of my life. Like right now, this is a stage because just a few months ago, few years ago, even few days, few weeks ago, life looks very different from this. And that also was a phase in of itself. So right now, this is a phase. And in this phase of my life, there are certain people you have access to. Like last week, I went to school. 2 weeks ago, I still went to school. Last month, I went to school. Okay, I didn't go to school today. But yesterday, I went to school. Let's just assume today I'll go to school. Tomorrow I'll also go to school. Next week I'll go to school. Next month I'll go to school. Next year probably will still go to school. But there's going to come a time in my life when I will never, ever, 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 ever go to school again. And probably especially this school. But the things are, even if miraculously I eventually go back to school, it just can never, ever, ever feel the same as it is right now. And it's not just school, it's just with everything. Certain people in your life right now, you saw maybe like your mom or your friend or your classmates or your brother, whatever. You saw him yesterday, you saw him today, you'll see him tomorrow, you probably will see him next week, next month, next year. But there's going to come a time in your life where you just never ever see this person again, like forever, never. And even if you do, it just can never be like the way it is right now. So the point is, this is a phase, this is like a season, this is just the here and now, as of right now. So the idea, at least the way I like to think of it, is to try and maximize all the things you have access to in this phase. Because right now you have access to, you know, certain people, you have access to certain places, you have access to certain things, but the time is going to come when all these things will go away. And in the new phase you enter, you know, it's now be a new set of people, new set of places, new set of things and all that. And this will go. And obviously, like I said earlier, if miraculously any of these things fully into that phase, it just can't be the same. Now that you're in this phase of your life, whatever it is for you, the people you see every day, the places you go every day, just try and appreciate them a little more. Just try and interact with them a little more, because the time is going to come when they basically will have no access to it anymore. So this is similar to the one I said earlier before, but I don't believe in plans anymore. I don't believe in like thoughts, I don't believe in dreams, I don't believe in any of that shit. And it's not like I don't believe in them at all, it's just I believe more in execution. I believe more in doing, because there was this example, like me and my brother, my older brother. So me, I'm usually the planner, the dreamer type guy. Right, so for the longest times, you know, I've had all these dreams, all these plans and all that. But guess what? So many years passed me by, so many months passed me by, and I basically did nothing. I didn't take any action. I just wrote these plans and kept having these dreams. While my other brother, you know, for the longest time, he was a dum-dum, didn't really give two fucks. Well, lately or recently, he started to actually take action on many of these dreams and plans that I wrote down. But it's not like he looked at what I wrote down and did. He was just doing it for like, just did his own version of that. And he went further ahead. Like, it's just as simple. So me just having that realization is like, it's not about who starts dreaming first. It's not about the person that has the idea first. It's not about the person that writes the best plan down. It's about the person what does. The word only reward those who go out and grab things. Like, if you go out and do something, go out and grab, go out and get, that's when you see results. That's when you basically get stuff. No matter how perfect the plan, no matter how good the dream, no matter how big the vision, if you do nothing, like, you're still going to just remain the exact same place. I don't believe in dreams or plans. I believe in action. I believe in what you do. What I see you doing every single day is going to determine your dream. Because you could literally just be somebody that doesn't even have a big dream, for example. But if you do the things that will get you to that big dream, you will still get there eventually, whether you have that dream or you don't. While somebody that might have the big dream, and if he doesn't do what is going to get him to that big dream, he's not going to get there, whether he has that dream or he doesn't. It's not to say that they are not important at all, because obviously you want to have a dream, you want to have a goal, you want to have a vision, you want to have direction. But action is just everything. Action is like 80-90% of everything. So if you don't do shit, you ain't gonna get shit. I could keep going on and on and on about things I believe and all that, but this video is getting too long already, and I don't want it to be any longer. And also, these are just my beliefs as of right now, and I like to always say I'm young and I'm dumb and I don't know shit. I know very few things. I'm still very young. So I could watch this video 1 year from now and just be like, what the fuck are you believing, bro? Like, what? How did you even get these ideas? The point I'm trying to make is my mind could change. Like, I'm still young, I'm still developing, I'm still growing, I'm still learning and all that. But as of right here, right now, these are things I no longer believe, or slash things I believe in. Not like you necessarily care, but, you know, do whatever you want with the information.